My mother skipped my 35th birthday dinner. Not because she was sick. Not because she had an emergency. She skipped it because she said, "We had more important plans." And then, she laughed. Right in my face. What she didn't know was that I had already discovered what those important plans were. And that night, I decided to stop protecting my family. I decided to tell the truth. My name is Ava Carter. I'm 35 years old. And for most of my life, I believed my mother loved me. Maybe not equally. Maybe not perfectly. But enough. At least. That's what I told myself. My mother, Linda, was the kind of woman who cared deeply about appearances. She cared about what the neighbors thought. What relatives thought. What her friends thought. What people at church thought. And most importantly, what social media thought. Our family had to look perfect. Even when it wasn't. My younger brother, Jason, was her favorite. Everyone knew it. Jason could call her at 2 in the morning. And she'd answer. He could miss Thanksgiving. And she'd make excuses for him. He could borrow thousands of dollars. And she'd call it helping family. But when I needed anything, I was told to figure it out myself. I learned early not to expect much. So when my 35th birthday came around, I decided to do something different. I planned a small dinner. Nothing extravagant. Just a beautiful restaurant downtown. A private table. My favorite chocolate cake. And the people I loved most. I called my mother 3 weeks before. "Mom, I really want you there." She laughed. "Of course I'll be there. You know birthdays are important to me." That sentence made me smile. Because I knew how much she loved birthdays. Especially her own. I booked the restaurant. Paid the deposit. Ordered the cake. And even reserved a seat for my mother beside me. For the first time in years. I felt excited. The night of my birthday. I arrived early. The restaurant was beautiful. Soft lights. White tablecloths. Candles glowing on every table. I checked my phone. No messages. I waited 10 minutes. Then 20. Then 30. My best friend Rachel finally arrived. She hugged me. "Happy birthday." I smiled. "Thank you." Then she looked around. "Where's your mom?" I forced a smile. "She's probably running late." Another 20 minutes passed. Still nothing. I called her. No answer. I called again. Straight to voicemail. Then, my phone buzzed. A message from Mom. I opened it. "Don't wait for us. We had more important plans." Faced with tears of joy, I stared at the screen. More important plans. I felt something crack inside me. Not because she missed dinner. But because of the laughing emoji. She wasn't sorry. She was amused. Rachel saw my face. What happened? I handed her my phone. She read the message. Her expression changed. "Ava." "I'm fine." "No, you're not." I looked at the empty chair beside me. My mother's chair. The one I had carefully reserved. Then I did something I had never done before. I didn't call her again. I didn't beg. I didn't ask why. I simply put my phone away. And celebrated my birthday without her. After dinner, Rachel drove me home. I couldn't sleep. Around midnight, I opened social media. And that's when I saw it. A photograph. Posted by my cousin. It showed my mother. My brother Jason. Jason's wife. And several relatives. All sitting together at an expensive rooftop restaurant. Champagne. Designer clothes. A huge table. And right in the middle was my mother. Smiling. Laughing. Celebrating something. I stared at the photograph. Then I noticed the caption. Celebrating Jason's new business partnership. Family first. Red heart hash. My hands went cold. I zoomed in. My mother was holding a champagne glass. Jason was standing beside a wealthy-looking businessman. Everyone looked happy. Everyone except me. Then I noticed something else. The date. The photograph had been posted. At exactly 7:15 p.m. My birthday dinner started at 7 o'clock. They hadn't forgotten. They had chosen not to come. They had chosen Jason. Again. I sat on the edge of my bed. 4 years. I had made excuses for them. Mom is just busy. Jason needs more help. They don't mean it. They're family. But suddenly, every memory looked different. My graduation. Mom arrived late. Jason's graduation. She arrived 2 hours early. My wedding. She complained about the venue. Jason's wedding. She paid for half the reception. My promotion. That's nice. Jason's first business. My son is an entrepreneur. I had spent 35 years trying to earn a place that Jason had been given for free. And I finally understood something. I wasn't the difficult daughter. I was simply the daughter they had learned they could neglect without consequences. The next morning, my mother called. I almost didn't answer. But I did. Hello. Good morning, birthday girl. Her voice sounded cheerful. I said nothing. She continued. I'm sorry about last night. Jason needed us. His business deal was extremely important. I looked at the photograph on my phone. Mom. Yes. Did you have a good time? Silence. Then. Of course. I smiled. Good. She laughed. Don't be dramatic, Ava. You're 35. You're old enough to understand. I felt my eyes burn. You're right. She paused. About what? I'm old enough to understand. Then I hung up. That afternoon, I discovered something that changed everything. Rachel called me. Ava. Did you know your mother's name is on Jason's business documents? What? I was looking through the state business records. Your mother didn't just attend his celebration. She invested in his company. How much? Rachel hesitated. $200,000. I froze. $200,000. Then I remembered something. 2 months earlier, I had asked my mother for help paying for my small business. I needed $8,000. She told me, I don't have that kind of money. I had believed her. Now I knew. She didn't have $8,000 for me, but she had $200,000 for Jason. And that wasn't even the worst part. Rachel sent me another document. There's more. I opened it. The company was registered under Jason's name, but my mother's house was listed as collateral. She had put her entire house behind his business. I couldn't believe it. Then I saw another name on the paperwork. Daniel Carter. My father. My father had been dead for 6 years. Yet his old investment account had also been used. I stared at the document. How? Rachel said quietly. I think your mother transferred the money. I felt sick. My father had left me a small inheritance. My mother had told me there wasn't much. But apparently, there was. And she had used it to help Jason. That night, I opened the old box containing my father's documents. Inside, I found his handwritten financial records, bank statements, investment certificates, old letters, and one envelope. My name was written on it. Ava. My hand shook as I opened it. Inside was a letter. My father's handwriting. I had never seen it before. It said, Ava. If you're reading this, something has probably happened that made you question your place in this family. I stopped breathing. He knew. I have always seen your strength. Your mother sometimes struggles to understand that love cannot be measured by what one child receives. Then came the sentence that changed everything. I created a separate trust for you. Your mother does not control it. I read the sentence again. A trust. For me. My father had left me something. Something my mother had never told me about. At the bottom of the letter was the name of an attorney and a phone number. The next morning, I called. A lawyer named Mr. Harris answered. When I gave him my father's name, his voice became serious. Are you Ava Carter? Yes. I've been waiting for you. My heart stopped. Why? Your father specifically instructed me to contact you when you turned 35. Why 35? Because he believed you'd finally be independent enough to make your own decisions. I sat down. What did he leave me? There was a pause. Your father created a trust worth approximately $1.8 million. I couldn't speak. My mother had spent years making me feel like I was less important. Meanwhile, my father had secretly protected my future. Mr. Harris continued. But that's not all. What else? The trust includes ownership in several investment properties. And he paused. Your father left instructions regarding your family. What instructions? He said. Never use this money to punish them. Use it to build a life they can never control. Tears filled my eyes. My father knew me better than anyone. 3 days later, I received the documents. The trust was real. Everything was legal. Everything was mine. I could have used the money to destroy Jason's company. I could have exposed my mother publicly. I could have embarrassed them the way they had embarrassed me. But I remembered my father's words. Never use this money to punish them. So I didn't. Instead, I bought the small business property I had always dreamed about. I expanded my company, hired employees, paid off my debts, and built something that belonged entirely to me. Within a year, my business became successful. Not because I inherited money, because I finally had the freedom to invest in myself. Then, Jason's company collapsed. The business deal my mother had celebrated was built on lies. The wealthy investor disappeared. The contracts failed. The debt became enormous. Jason called my mother. My mother called me. Ava. What happened? Your brother needs help. I already knew. How much? $300,000. I almost laughed. Mom. You said you didn't have $8,000 for me. She became silent. I know. And now you want $300,000. He's your brother. I looked out the window. I know. So help him. I took a deep breath. No. She sounded shocked. How can you say that? Because I finally understand something. What? Being family doesn't mean being someone's emergency bank account. She began crying. Ava. I'm not angry anymore, Mom. Then why won't you help? Because forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. Silence. Then I said the words I'd been waiting 35 years to say. You didn't miss my birthday because you had more important plans. You missed it because you thought I wasn't important. Her breathing became shaky. And now? I'm finally important to myself. I hung up. 6 months later, I received another invitation. My mother wanted to meet. I agreed. We met at the same restaurant where she had skipped my birthday. She arrived alone. No Jason. No relatives. No excuses. She looked older. Tired. She sat across from me. I'm sorry. I didn't answer. I've been thinking about what I did. She wiped her eyes. I treated Jason like he could do no wrong. And I expected you to always understand. I looked at her. Why? She cried. Because you were strong. I shook my head. Mom. Being strong doesn't mean you don't get hurt. She nodded. I know. Then she said something unexpected. I saw the post. What post? The one you made. I smiled. My birthday post. The one I had uploaded after discovering the truth. It wasn't angry. It wasn't cruel. It was simply a photograph of the empty chair beside me. With one sentence. Sometimes the empty seat at your table teaches you who actually belongs in your life. Thousands of people had shared it. My mother had seen it. And for the first time, she understood. I hadn't exposed her. I had simply stopped hiding her behavior. I didn't immediately forgive her. But I didn't hate her either. I gave her something better. A chance to earn back my trust. Slowly. She did. Not with money. Not with gifts. Not with public apologies. With actions. She started showing up. She called when she said she would. She asked about my business. She remembered important dates. And most importantly, she stopped comparing me to Jason. Years later, on my 40th birthday, I hosted another dinner. This time, my mother arrived early. She hugged me. Happy birthday. I smiled. Thank you. She looked at the table. Then at me. I brought something. She handed me a small envelope. Inside was a photograph. It was the photograph from my 35th birthday. The empty chair. My mother had printed it. On the back she had written, "I'm sorry I wasn't sitting there." I looked at her. She smiled through tears. "Can I sit there now?" I pulled out the chair. Yes. She sat beside me. And for the first time in my life, I didn't feel like the forgotten daughter. I felt like myself. And that's when I finally understood. The greatest revenge isn't making people regret hurting you. It's building a life where their approval is no longer necessary. My mother once laughed and said, "We had more important plans." She was right. That night, I had a more important plan too. I was finally choosing myself.